So I'm going to tell you a story, but I've forgotten most of it. I guess that's the side effect of smoking way too much marijuana. There was a time once when I didn't feel that I fit in anywhere. I was nobody. I wasn't picked at sports, no girl hit on me. Maybe that's why I took up smoking. It was very easy. I was accepted in the circle, people welcomed me with open arms, and I was part of something so much bigger than myself. I was this stoner dude. The first time when I smoked up, nothing happened. But the second time, my friend, he took off the filter from the back of the joint and he taught me how to keep this smoke in my lungs for a good 30 seconds. I exhaled and I started laughing. I couldn't stop. We tried to talk, but we just kept laughing for the next 30 minutes. I floated through that day. There was a smile plastered on my face. I went home and I ate everything my mom cooked, and it was the best meal of my life. It still is. When the high wore off, I knew I had to do this again. Being a stoner was amazing. You could just be stoned all the time. Time slowed down to a snail's pace, and I'm a slow person. I felt that this thing was custom made for me. The various voices in my head, they were silenced. I could just pick one out and examine it at leisure. And when you're stoned, when you're so stoned, you grow mentally numb, as if you stop caring and not giving a damn. It's some different kind of bliss. My days were spent just planning when and where I would smoke up. I had this mental list of lies I could pick up and throw at my parents and just leave the home and smoke in peace. Every morning I would wake up and I have a nice bake and bake session, just me and my joint. Birds are chirping, the sun is rising, it's just me. I read somewhere that if you get up and smile, and the first thing, your day would be brilliant. And after smoking a joint, all I could do was smile. I was studying computer engineering back then, and I couldn't write a computer program. I still can't. But if you give me an empty plastic bottle, I can whip up a bomb like I'm some mad-ass engineer. People I didn't know, they invited me to their circles. They pointed at me, look, he's the guy who smokes so much. I was legend in college. They say you fall into bad habits because of the company you keep, because of peer pressure. I kinda agree because I was the peer pressure. A year back, I had gone to the river Ganga, and when I came back, I told my friends, guys, my sins are all washed off. And my friend looked at me and he said, that's not possible, dude. You've told so many people in the stoners, it's not going to be washing off in a single lifetime. I guess I've painted a picture of what kind of hippie I was. There's this one night I want to take you back to. I used to smoke up a lot at home, alone, in the bathroom with the exhaust fan on, the perfect time. My bathroom door had a small problem where if you don't push it correctly, it doesn't click in place. It doesn't click in place. One day I was about 15 or 16 bong hits down, or high, which wasn't unusual, it was a Monday, and I was taking another one in the bathroom. In the haze, I didn't realize that the door wasn't clicked. I was filling the bowl of my bong when my mom walked in, and she saw me. She didn't know what to do. She called my dad. They came in and they saw everything on the counter: the bong, the weed, the crusher, the lighter, the rolling paper. I had everything. It was just laying there in front of me. My dad looked at it and he slapped me once, twice, maybe even thrice. I don't remember now. To say I was screwed is an understatement. Later, deep in the night, I was trying to sleep and my father came into my room. He sat next to me, he put his hand on my forehead and he cried. He said that it was his fault, that he had failed as a father. Part of me didn't care. But there was a small part of me that felt just as crushed as he was. But that part of me wasn't in charge. And I just lay there pretending to be asleep. Here's the thing about addicts. They have this superpower. They can convince themselves of anything. One last hit, one last track, it's some really good stuff, I have to try it. I'll smoke this entire week and the next week I'm going clean. Once someone told me that smoke, but don't make it a habit. I looked at him and I said, this is not a habit, this is a lifestyle. Once my parents found out, all my movements were monitored. I stretched my mind and imagination just coming up with lies to leave the house. I stank of deodorant and I became a pro with the eye drops. My life was just one lie after the other and I wasn't happy anymore even when I was stoned. I was just paranoid thinking, what if my parents find out? I hated my parents and they wanted to control me. I was like a stubborn teenager and I wanted to rebel. And I swore back then that whatever may happen, I will continue smoking all my life. And that is when she came in. She was so beautiful. She was like those pauses between the notes of a song. I just fell for her. We spent all the time together, lunch, dinner, and if we weren't together, I was dreaming about being with her. But she always made a face when I referenced smoking up, which I did a lot. When I scored a really great batch once, I messaged her saying how proud I was of the achievement. And she replied saying, do you understand the repercussions of you continuing to smoke up? I did, but I couldn't quit weed. What would my friends say? You left weed for a girl, you pussy. Weed was my life. But I wanted her in it too. So I tried to do something that I thought was impossible. I tried to stop. To take my mind off weed, I started writing a story for her. She was the kind of girl for whom poems were not enough, and so I sat down, fired up my word processor, and I wrote. Love is really the greatest motivator. She was my muse, and I just wrote a story. Whatever I felt bled into those words, from those words back into me. And it was beautiful. I was flying again. I was flying without any drugs. I would sit every day and I would write. I would sit every day and I would think what happens next. And my thoughts were just occupied by plots and how do I impress her. It was the first story I'd ever written and she liked it. I wish I could say that this story concluded over here and we had a happily ever after, but I'll leave that for the fairy tales. We had a good time together, but she left me for someone else and I was left alone and crushed. I didn't know what to do, so I went back to the only thing that ever mattered to me, the only person who wouldn't leave me. I went back to Mary Jane. After she left, I grew hard. I looked at the world through this broken lens and all I did was I smoked. I smoked and I smoked. I was drowning in my own smoke trying to forget her. But I also wrote. Those pages were my only escape from myself. To just slip out of my own skin, enter another character. The only one who read my stories back then was the trash bin, obviously. I thought it would be easier to write when you're high. The thoughts will flow better, and that's how great art is made, right? Hemingway said, write drunk, get it sober. That's what I did, except for being drunk, I was stoned. It was as necessary for me as pen or ink. People who read my stories back then, they didn't like it. Even my mom didn't like it. And she's supposed to like it. She said, and I quote, this is not how a writer writes. This is like a child writing. That hurt. I soon found out my need to smoke up and write is a condition called as the Hemingway defense. Stephen King writes in his memoir, substance abusing writers are just substance abusers. Common garden variety drunks and druggies, in other words. Any claims that the drugs and alcohol are necessary to dull a finer sensibility is just the usual self-serving bullshit. The only time I had written something halfway decent was when I had written it for her when I was completely sober. So I started really experimenting with writing sober. I, I would write sober and I would go for these long walks. When I hit 10 pages, I treated myself to a smoke, but in the haziness, I couldn't think again. I was so engulfed in my plots and my made up stories that I just forgot to smoke up. The days passed by, weeks passed by before I realized, whoa, I haven't smoked yet. It felt good to be sober again, it felt very healthy. My mind was this whirlwind of activity, and it was like a mental avalanche that just needed something to kickstop it. And I was in free fall. I was in love with my writing. My stories started to get published in places, and the compliments I started to receive were overwhelming. There's this quote by Neil Gaiman I hold here. It goes, "The moment that you feel, just possibly, you're walking down the street naked, exposing too much of your heart and your mind and what exists on the inside, showing too much of yourself, that is the moment you might be starting to get it right." Without the herbs, without the lies, I was free to look deep inside myself again. I don't know where stories come from. Maybe they are byproducts of staring into your soul for too long, or your heart for the romantics of that. But I know one thing: stories are the only proof we have of our existence, and it is the only thing we will leave behind. I once told my friend I had found the secret to life, and I'm going to share this with you guys. Whatever it is you want to do it every day. If you want to be a kind person, practice kindness every day. If you want to be a painter, paint every day. If you want to be a smoker, smoke every day. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. All that matters is the doing. I've been writing every day since the last 3 years, completely clean by the way. And many people ask me how I even manage that. My answer is simple. Writing is my drug, and I always get my fix. Thank you.